Hi, welcome to the next in the recreational video series. And I'm actually sitting at McDonald's right now recording this because I've got an hour to kill, so we may have a soundtrack on the back. You might hear some music. Alright, but we're going to explore what you need to know in terms of the local rules here at the Bay of Plenty if you want to go fishing, and what you need to do and know in order not to run afoul of the fisheries laws. Okay, so you need to measure the fish if possible by the fork length. Okay, so that goes from the tip of the mouth to the center of the fork of the tail, and you would have seen that in fisheries or marine mammals, birds, and fish. You would have seen that, how to make that. Okay, can we catch a good feed still? Alright. 7 snapper per day, greater than 30 centimeters. Maximum 5 hopica / kingfish with no more than 3 kingfish. You can have no more than 3 hopica as well. So you can't catch 5 hopica per person, you can take 3 per person. But if you have 3 hopica, then you can't have 3 kingfish. And likewise, if you have 3 kingfish, you can't have 5 hopica. So that's a lot of food anyway if you catch those are quite large fish to be legal. Maximum combined 20 other fish of other species. Okay, so if you've got kawai and let's say kawai and tarakihi and snapper, they're outside the limit. If you have kawai, tarakihi, trevally, perhaps red cod, something like that, then you have to add up those other fish and a maximum of 20. So you could have 19 kawai and 1 trevally, or 19 trevally and 1 kawai, but not 20 kawai and 1 trevally. Now this is still per person, so you can catch a lot of fish. 6 eels, you're allowed 6 eels. You can have 30 gray mullet. And there's no limit on piper, pilchard, or yellow-eyed mullet. Alright, so you can net those as much as you like. I've seen somebody net 50 kilos of piper and put them in a gubba bucket and take them away. But you're not allowed to fillet the fish until they're landed. So you can't bring them back on your boat filleted unless you keep frames. Shellfish, if you're measuring a paua or a scallop or anything with these are the main ones with size limits, and you measure it across the widest part of the shell. Okay, the widest part of the shell has to be 125 millimeters in this case, and 100 millimeters in this case of the scallop. Okay, bag limits for shellfish. You can have 10 paua per day without scuba gear. Has to be free diving or hand gathered. Maximum of 20 scallops. Plus you can have a share for the boat person. Alright, 20 scallops per person. Plus you can have 150 cockles, plus 50 kinna, plus 50 mussels, plus 50 dredge oysters, plus 250 rock oysters, plus 150 pipi, and 150 tua. Alright, and you can't shell those until they're landed. Landed means brought to shore. So you can, once they've been brought to shore, at which point they could have been inspected, then you're welcome to do with them what you like. Crayfish, maximum 6 per person per day, and that would be for both species. So if you get 3 packhorse crayfish, then you would only be allowed 3 reds. So that's a combination of packhorse and red. So you couldn't get 6 reds and 3 packhorse. No females in berry, which means they're carrying their eggs on the pleopods. No apparatus that can penetrate the shell. So no. In Costa Rica, I've seen people catching these things with just a big 10-bar hook on a stick, and they pull they just pull the crayfish out by hooking them. Nooses, that rule has been changed. So there was a rule for a little while, no nooses, but they've relaxed that. Soft shells, if you squeeze them, you can feel the shell on the carapace. feels soft, and that is not allowed. They must be returned. Pots have to have escape rings and the owner's name on the float. So no more than 3 pots per fisher. So you actually have to have your name and your phone number on the float to the pot. Okay, so that means that if you go out and you see a cray pot and it doesn't have an owner's name or a phone number, you can legally pull it up, take it home, and they don't have a leg to stand on, because a fisheries officer will do the same. Okay, rock lobster, males 54 millimeters, these are reds, females 60 centimeters, and that's from this little protrusion on the lower carapace. Okay, these protrusions, 60 millimeters across or 54 millimeters across there. And a pack horse lobster has to be a tail length of from here to the insertion of the tail from the upper carapace to the end of the tail of 216 millimeters. We'll go over all this in class. So grand total, you could catch 70 fish plus unlimited pipers plus yellow-eyed mullet and jack mackerel, 740 shellfish, 6 crayfish, and 50 cora, all in one day per person. So we still do have the ability to gather quite a bit of seafood and enjoy the ocean. Okay, there's some gear restrictions on long lines, 25 hooks per long line set, and you can have 1 per person and 2 per boat. So if you have 3 people on the boat, you can only have 2 long lines. If you have 2 people on the boat, you can have 2 long lines. If you have 1 person on the boat, you can only have 1 long line. And again, they have to have the name, and that should be phone number rather than address on the float. No more than 40 millimeter length on the dragnet. We'll actually deploy a dragnet, and that can only be 40 meters in length. And the warps, which you'll understand what they are after we deploy one, those are the end ropes, not more than 200 millimeters in total for both warps. Okay, various mesh sizes depending on which fish you're catching, and set nets. If you're going to set a gill net, it can't be any more than 60 meters length. These might be for flounder, or sometimes they're set out on the sand, and they have to have, or for butterfish and around rocky reefs, that kind of thing. You have to have the name and again, phone number, so that address has changed to phone number now, and various mesh sizes depending on what you're targeting.